Should we talk about the game that we actually are excited to talk about?
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah. So we've all played it. Connor, you haven't touched it since
we played it.
We played it. Yeah. So we all played it together. We all played for probably about 5 hours.
Yeah.
All together. Phil, I assume you've at least touched the game since then.
Oh, I've been groping the game.
Okay. All right. Cool. Oh yeah. We played that for an evening last what would have been Sunday?
Damn.
Was it before the podcast?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
I think it was.
So maybe
no,
it was
after we recorded. Yeah, I want to say it was Tuesday.
Might have been that night actually.
Yeah. Monday night?
Yeah.
No, because I went to Nicole's Monday night.
That was true.
Yeah, so it must have been Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those.
So this is all of ours. Well, I guess Connor's actually played some Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, which kind of offsets it to a degree, but I have not played as much as you guys.
This is all our first mainline traditional Monster Hunter. This is me and Phil's first Monster Hunter period. I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty fun.
It is super
I think
fun.
it's really fun, actually. I think it's really, really fun. I like sort of the different ways of progression and building out your character, and the deeper and deeper you go, the more interesting it is. I think the narrative is okay. It's fun enough. I'm not really remembering what's happening or really taking note of anything that's happening. I'm just kind of what's the conflict of the moment? Oh, it's this. Okay, great. We're gonna go kill a thing and fix the conflict or whatever. Really cool. Surprisingly, with how the structure of the game is, which is sort of mission based of go out, kill this thing, come back, get a new mission, go out, kill this thing, come back, rinse and repeat. The way that they are able to sort of incorporate set piece into the story is actually really impressive to me, because set pieces are hard to do in linear games. This one kind of being their first real glance into open world, but for the most part just kind of having a connected world that is, but it's still that sort of mission level. You're more focused on just running out and killing the thing to get the supplies to bring it back to build your armor and then continue that gameplay loop. The way that they're able to sort of implement set piece into that has been spectacular in my opinion.
And it's because of the mount of the game, which is very fun to play around with, because a lot of those big cinematic moments happen when you're on the bird.
Oh,
going
sure.
around
Yeah,
things.
okay, yes, I see what you're saying.
It's a great
good
facilitator
old
of
sacred.
those moments. Yeah, the sacred. I liked how much easier it was to get on the dogs, the hounds that you have in Rise, but I not only because of the cinematic purposes, but enjoy the use of the bird. It can carry a secondary weapon, which I don't believe you could do in past Monster Hunter games. You just had to go into the field with one. But I might just not have made use of a secondary weapon system in Rise.
I don't find, as of right now, I'm not finding the need to use a second weapon in Wilds either.
That's more where you start wanting to branch off into something else than just stick with one weapon.
Sure.
And at a certain point, you'll be like, okay, I want to swap over
Switch
to something
it up.
else.
Let me get something else going here.
It's one of the great benefits of Monster Hunter, because it changes up the gameplay very substantially, and you can just start building up a new weapon that, and all of them are great, There's a reason why they've pretty much kept the same exact weapons game after game after game. It's because they're so solid on their own.
Refinement.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as far as
myself,
yes.
So I was gonna say that for myself, I've completely changed what weapon I was using since both weapons. I don't even touch the sword and shield anymore. That was my baby our entire play session when we played, and now I'm long sword and dual blades. That's my friends.
You had said you were going to go with dual blades before. Longsword? This guy's a weeb right here.
What are you using?
I'm saying that. The charge axe.
Okay.
The switch axe, sorry.
The switch axe?
Oh, I keep confusing the charge blade and the switch
I played around with the charge blade.
Yeah.
It seemed all right.
I very much like that one.
Yeah.
The switch axe is just extremely fun to use. It packs a punch. I need to make more use. I'll have to see if there's a mobility option with the weapon, because I was reading up on it just recently. And I guess I had missed that when I last played Wilds, unless they took it out, because there's a sidestep you can do. So it adds that extra little bit of maneuverability, plus having the cool switch function of the axe, very much like a Bloodborne weapon. And, basically being very versatile for whatever, whether I want to have more heavy hitting attacks that may be slower as opposed to something a bit more mobile. It's my kind of weapon. I guess I'll say. And
I've been using the bow, which
Yeah.
has kind of surprised me because it doesn't like function how. If I like a bow in video games, I'd normally like to be like super agile and move around and stuff like that. It doesn't really function that way. It's a little bit more like plant your feet and fling your arrows type thing. But I've been enjoying it immensely. Immensely, I've been enjoying it. Just being able to, sort of pop at a distance, get specific hits off, have the tracer bolt, I believe they call it, where you basically like you charge up this big arrow, launch it into an enemy, and it will explode eventually. But until it does, you can just kind of fire your arrows in the general direction, and the arrows will just hit that one spot again and again and again.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when weak points present themselves on the monster through damage of anybody, the way to like or the ease of like, oh, if there's like 3-4 weak points on that motherfucker, oh, he's losing a lot of health really fast because I'm knocking out all 4 of those weak points at once, and all that's really interesting. Yeah, I'm blown away with how much I actually liked it. I thought I would like enjoy it, but I thought it would be like a sort of like, oh, I'll play it for like a weekend or two and then put it down and probably never come back. No, I intend to probably be playing this for the rest of the year, or at least until I run out of content in it, which who knows when that is.
And they constantly roll stuff out as well. So,
Yeah.
Not with this one yet, but
I'm sure
Monster Hunter franchise.
I'm sure it's coming.
Always, yeah.
I'm sure it's coming. And this being sort of our successor to Monster Hunter Worlds, which was a huge glow up and a huge like sort of big splash for the series, where it kind of hit some more mainstream popularity, and it certainly broke in the West a lot more. Being a follow up to that, it seems like from what I'm gauging online is that they've just kind of refined a lot of the great advancements that they made in that game and made them better even in here. My only real problems and biggest critiques of the game is partying up is too complicated and difficult. That needs to like, I'm shocked that it functions the way it does. Like, it is bafflingly confusing. And the control scheme to me is unnatural. And I don't know if I'll ever get used to it, because like even after like in hour 4 or 5 of playing with the same weapon, I was like, why do I have to press this button combination to get this move out? This is strange. And there's just a lot of like, I'm always accidentally putting my weapon away when I don't mean to, and I have to like bring it back out, or I'll like switch. The bow has different like arrow types, and I'll like accidentally switch arrow types, and I don't mean to, or I'll pull up the item wheel and like accidentally pull out, I don't know, my fishing rod or some shit by accident. And I'm like, why do I have this now? I don't understand. That's happened to me constantly. Which I think feeds into your thing about like, hey, it's kind of hard to get on the bird as opposed to the dog. I mean, it is easy to get on the bird. It's just one button press.
Yeah.
But it's just not natural. Like, your natural instinct, because it's how it works in every other game, is to call the bird and then press another button to get on the bird. Which I can appreciate that it's just now one button press, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel right.
And a lot of this could be subject to change as you get used to it, because Monster Hunter as a franchise does control differently than most other games, and so there is a bit of a learning curve, but eventually you get to a point where you're able to play it more efficiently. I think
if I'm in hour 5 and I still have not wrapped my head around it, that's a design problem. That, like, your controls should be intuitive, what I want to do instinctually.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a great control scheme. It's just one that you get used to.
Sure,
Eventually.
But like FromSoft games have different control schemes, and you have to get used to them. But it doesn't take that long to get used to them.
Yeah, you're right. Because that's a good control scheme as a baseline.
That's one that you can wrap your mind around and go, okay, this button does that button does this. In Monster Hunter, I'm finding myself going, like in the heat of battle, going, fuck, which button is it to do that? Oh, this one. That's right. Like, and I shouldn't be doing that hour 5 into the game.
Very fair. I agree. I think some of the controls kind of throw me a little bit. I'm not like, every once in a while I'll like do a misinput, but that's like the number of button presses I'm doing rather than like pushing the wrong button. Because there's like combos and stuff that you do with certain weapons. And
is there maybe because my basis is with the bow, so like the game logic isn't in the same. Is there a button that does heavy attack and a button that does light attack? Or are they just different attacks for each weapon for each button?
Different attacks.
I think they're just different attacks for every weapon.
Yes. Okay, because I'm trying to figure out the game logic of how they build the combos with the weapons, and there doesn't really seem to be one. or a universal logic from weapon to weapon?
Oh, there's not. So as far as the switch axe goes, you have two forms. You have the axe form, which is what it always starts as initially, and you hit with that weapon to build up the bar to be able to access the features of your sword mode, which apply like elemental effects, and you can do massive explosive damages. But the whole thing is, I believe, because it's different. It switches between sword mode and axe mode, but I believe it goes, the axe mode's triangle gets that bar filled up way faster than the circle button, which is just like wild swings that keep going and do good damage, but they don't build up that bar. Whereas it's flipped when you get the sword mode up. Circle basically builds up the sword charge that allows you to gain access to the vials and do those elemental damages as well. Yeah, and the triangle button will do a different attack, but it won't fill up that bar as much. But I think it does more damage just as a general thing. So I believe that's where that difference is for the switch axe. But the point is that the function does change weapon to weapon, because I'm assuming it's nothing like that with your longbow.
Not at all.
And I'm guessing definitely not with the katana, the longsword, because that's more about like charging attacks, isn't it? Just holding down buttons and then slicing.
Well, kind of, but there's also an aspect of what you were talking about of like charging this bar. Like, so your basic attacks with triangle will charge up this bar that you can then access like your super flashy moves by holding
yes, that's what it is.
right trigger and also hitting other face buttons, right? And then if you do enough of those like right trigger moves in quick succession and they land, your bar will turn red, and then you can do like your ultimate flashy combos and stuff, and it's super neat.
Right.
And then in terms of like the dual blades, it's kind of similar where you'll enter this mode. I think they call it like demon mode or something like that, or like demon rush or something like that. And you'll just like, you'll go from just hitting regular like dual wielding attacks to like super like quick, like flashy, like, oh, I'm stabbing and slicing and doing all this cool like rolling motion and stuff. And
I'm going to spin in a
it's
circle
super neat.
and go on your back with the blades digging into your back, and it looks super cool.
Yeah, see,
it does look very, very cool.
And I thought there would be sort of a uniformity between, or with all the melee weapons, because like that would kind of make sense. So like I thought maybe like triangle's strong, circle is weak but fast, and stuff like that. But it doesn't sound like it's that way at all. It's just every weapon has its own combo system, and you just got to adjust to that. Yeah, because the bow like functions more like a chargeable shotgun than it does like a regular bow and arrow, because you're shooting like 5 arrows at once every time. And the vial, the elemental attacks, is something you can apply immediately. It's a quick button press and you do it on there, and then your next 10 shots that you let off do that element effect, and you just have to make sure that you're keeping you're restocking, you're reloading that element. You can, of course, just keep shooting and firing forever. You're not like reloading your arrows. You just have to reload the effect onto the arrows. And then generally the bow is just about keeping pressure on and doing massive chip damage until the weak points reveal themselves. And then you have this other move by holding L1 where you sort of like prep the arrow by like shooting them into the sky, kind of like a mortar comes down. And you have to like keep the cursor on the monster. And as you keep it on, like the different reticles will show up on the weak points, and those reticles will charge up. And if you let them all charge up fully, it'll do massive damage to each of them. And basically I just have to sit there, charge, wait, and then unleash like this just massive payload onto it all at once, which is like
that was.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's kind of like our vibe that we were rocking with when we were playing. Like me and Connor were revealing these weak points, and then you would hit them with like the charge thing, and it was very cool. Like our synergies that we kind of dealt with in our kind of like co-op sessions.
Really I like that. It's like I said it when we played. I'm like, I feel so powerful, but I know I'm feeling powerful in a different way. I know you guys are doing things, but it feels like I'm doing the massive damage. I'm sure to you, it's the same perspective where you're like, oh, I'm doing the massive damage. Sure, they're helping, but I'm doing the like that's how it must feel for each of us individually. It's like, I'm sure they're doing something, but I don't see it like how I see it, you know? Yes. So like the game is very good at making you feel powerful, which is to be super commended, because a lot of these games that have like a huge variety of builds, very often one of them is just weaker inherently than the others. Haven't felt that yet, or haven't seen that yet of like, there's like a build that's just like, this is crappy.
It's the benefit of once again having such a solid weapon system that's been around for
That you've just
games
been
and games
refining
and games,
for
yes.
decades at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it does that thing where like whenever you hit it, it'll show your numbers, but you can't see everybody else's numbers, like of what they're doing.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'll throw your attacks out, it'll be like, oh, this did 26 damage, right? Or like,
Which is
you
why,
know, if
like,
you hit like an armored spot, yeah.
Yeah, which is why, like, I at one point I asked y'all, I said, hey, how much damage are you guys doing per hit? And I don't know, you said like 20, 21, 22, something like that or whatever. And I was like, okay, my numbers are smaller than that, but I'm also getting 5 numbers at a time.
Yeah.
So like I was like, oh well, I'm only doing like 5, 6, 7 damage depending on where I'm hitting him. But you multiply that by the 5 arrows that come out. And I'm like, oh, okay, no, I'm still in that realm. I'm still doing that same amount of damage. And that mortar shot that I'm talking about, fucking like, for each weak point, I'm doing like 200 points of damage a piece. And I'm like, oh,
I was gonna say, I hit like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like in the 400s of like a crazy high like critical like weak point that I hit. It was one of my like solo play sessions. It was insane.
Yeah. It's really annoying to me just how my build works when you guys reveal a weak point and then very quickly kill it because it'll just be like on the leg that you've been hitting the whole time.
Yeah,
so you just keep hitting that one spot and I'm like, fuck, guys, wait.
That's my thing. That's what I can do.
I'm like, wait. But when there's 3 or 4 of them at a time, I'm like a kid in a candy shop, baby. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great.
That's why it's like it's so fun to me where like Connor will be on like the monster's right side and I'll be like kind of like in front of it but more to the left, and so like he'll reveal stuff on one side and I'll reveal stuff on the other side, and it's just so cool. Like I love the team aspect and like taking these things down all together. It's super cool.
For sure. I can't wait to see some of the bigger ones and just keep progressing through it, because when we got to that first real big boss that boss monster, the alpha, whatever the fucking thing is called.
I know it.
Whatever it's called. But when we got there and it was a long fight, like we fought that thing for probably like 15 minutes, you know, and it was just like this is badass. And like it would like run away and we would chase it down and fight smaller monsters along the way and so forth. I'm like, this is so fucking sick. Another thing with the bow, I love when they run away, but they have a weak point revealed, and I can like charge and hit that thing, and then knock them down, and then you guys like climb back on it, and it's just like it's trying to limp away, and you're like, no, motherfucker, you're done, son.
That was one of my favorite parts about the sword and shield, because I could like when they run away, I could hop onto my bird, and then I have this cool like sweeping move with my sword, and it looks like the scene in Endgame where Valkyrie has her spear in the Leviathan thing, and it's like it looks just like that. It's super cool, and it's like just slice them down. It was so dope.
Makes you feel powerful.
You start feeling bad for these monsters, like when you're like wearing them down, and like suddenly like their back legs don't work anymore, and you're like,
you see him limping.
Yeah. Like, he's like crying out, like, and I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry, but I need your tongue. Like, don't ask me why. I just need your tongue.
Give me your jaw too.
Oh my god.
I understand one of the criticisms that it's too easy. Comparative to previous Monster Hunter games, because despite as cool as you feel while fighting these monsters, whether you're by yourself or with somebody else, I never felt in danger. I always felt like I was in control of the situation. Health was easy to access. If I don't think I've died yet at all. No, I have not died either.
Yeah,
and so I hope they improve that as the game goes on. It becomes a bit more challenging when it gets to those bigger monsters.
I'm assuming there's some end game stuff in there that like hasn't really been dove into yet.
Right. And that's
when that starts happening. And then, of course, as they update and progress the game along, because Monster Hunter World had a long tail.
It did.
And that was before like games as a service like really like took off and like blueprints were laid out like in that way. So I'm assuming the big reason that they wanted to do Wild instead of continuing to support World is one, a new generation of consoles, but also two, so that they could hopefully lay a foundation that they could build upon easier.
And I think we'll see that for years and years to come.
I hope so.
Especially because in the grander scheme of technology and gaming, it's kind of reaching a limit. The PS5 had the smallest technical jump from the PS4 compared to something like the Xbox 360.
The smallest notable jump.
Smallest notable jump, yes. And so clearly technological limits are coming to a head, at least for now, until whatever the next form is taken.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make much sense that they'd want to scrap a game that's clearly baseline amazing, where they can continually build off of it with DLC, with expansions, and all that stuff. It just makes more sense to do that than get ready for the next Monster Hunter game, which What'll they improve? How it'll improve compared to the last one?
I mean, the last one had long legs. That game came out 2016, and here we are and of course, Rise, but that's a different development team. And now here we are in 2025, almost a decade late. 2016.
Yeah, so it's 9 years. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're almost a decade later and still playing it, and just getting the next one, man.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm expecting some long legs out of Wilds, and that excites me.
2018.
I want to have a quick conversation about gear progression. Phil, maybe you can answer this. Of course, as you keep fighting monsters, you unlock new armor trees that you can dive into and craft new armors and so forth.
Yeah.
But can I just lock in on my armor? Is there a way to upgrade my armor and just make it better, or am I just gonna recycle out my armor? Because I love the way my armor looks right now. And I love the way it makes my character look right now, and I don't want to switch that up. But I still want to progress, and I still want to get stronger.
I think eventually, yes, there is a what's the word I'm looking for? A system where you can upgrade your current armor set to kind of provide more defense, or maybe do a side kind of buff thing. Not all of them have that, but all of them can be upgraded in terms of the numbers going up.
Yeah.
So I think you would be okay. I think I don't know for sure. I've kind of just been all over the map trying to find an armor set that I love, and I think I'm close to locking that down. But I think you'd be okay. I don't think you would struggle if you stayed with what you had.
Yeah.
Maybe later on, I'm also I don't know how close I am to the end of the game. Necessarily, or to these kind of end game weapons. I think I'm relatively close to the end of the story.
Okay.
But I haven't found. It's a little confusing, some of the upgrade systems.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, the way the weapon tree is laid out is odd. It is very strange.
There are these some of these weapons that I'm getting, or armor I'm getting, they say they have slots, but I don't know. And I also have items that can fill those slots, but I don't know how to combine them. I don't know how I'm supposed to put them in there. So I'm that's the kind of only part that I'm still figuring out.
Gotcha. It's so funny, this being my first Monster Hunter, and I wasn't sure. I knew it was more mission based and go out into the wild, kill this thing, come back, and improve your equipment. But this is, to me, and this might sound a little weird, but Connor, maybe you'll be able to understand what I'm going with this, because you've also played these two games. Yeah. This is if The Witcher had a game structure like Peace Walker or Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Where it's just oh, I get it. Base, I'm going back and I'm building all this stuff, and then I'm going on this mission and doing this thing. But it's but it's just The Witcher 3 of oh, but you should eat this, or drink a potion, or coat your sword in this oil so that it does this amount of damage to this type of monster or whatever. Except instead of being a narrative focused open world game, it's a mission structure, improve your build focused game in that, which is very much like how that Peace Walker, Phantom Pain sort of thing. Open world design is very much Phantom Pain, with just a lot more to do on the map.
Mm.
But yeah, it's very much like how Phantom Pain operates its open world, which I was within an hour and a half of the game, it clicked, and I went, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do these things. As a comparison to players who also maybe not have played or have not played a Monster Hunter in the past, it's kind of like that.
It's a great game.
I'm really into it. Can't wait to play it some more.
Yeah.
If only I didn't have some fucking nimwit make me play it's a shit fucking video game that's going to take up all my goddamn time this month.
He's been raging.
Yeah,
Phil.
the same nitwit has been trying to get you guys to play Monster Hunter as well, but no one wants to join the nitwit.
Only a little bit of time, only so much time, and now I have to play this 30-hour action RPG.
What are you signed for? Tired of his bullshit?
I just want to play Monster Hunter with my friends.
I do too, but there's only so many hours in the day, Phil. There's only so many hours.
It's true. Remember Marvel
Dude,
Rivals?
speaking of hours in the day, fuck this time change, dude. Fuck
Oh my god, dude! I didn't even know it was happening. I got home from work. I was
Yeah.
on my phone for a little bit. It was like 1:30, and I looked back at my phone. It was 3:45. I was like, "What the fuck happened? Where did I lose this out?" Yeah, I slept in heavy that day.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks.
I slept in heavy, but I was still tired at the same time as usual. So I just lost so much time.
Yeah.
You should listen to Time by Pink Floyd.
Should I? This is a song?
It's from the
album?
Dark Side of the Moon album.
Oh.
It's a good song from it.
Time is not a one-day street.
It's not the song. That is a good song though.
Is that not it?
No, that's a song from 2000s.
Okay.
Time from Pink Floyd was in the 1974.
On our scale, gentlemen, where are we at with Monster Hunter?
A scale. What do you mean about
Sort of
scale?
as like
I'm
an
gonna say-
informal review.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit it with an amazing, a 9 out of 10.
I think I'm there as well.
I might be as well.
I
That's what I gave it on my personal like list where I track.
conservatively, I want to say great, an 8 out of 10, but I think it's very easily going to jump to an amazing 9 out of 10. It's just the things of like how difficult it is to queue up with your team and the baffling control scheme are the only things holding me back.
Mhm.
Other than that,
For me, that's the only
I've-
stuff holding it back from a 10.
yeah. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said that. That's what I'm saying is like it's so close to a 10 or has the potential to be a 10, but there's just like these quality of life things that like we should have had by now in 2025. There's no reason in 2025 I should like need to be going into online forums to figure out how to party and up with my fucking friends. Still don't
It's fucking
fully
great,
understand it.
You don't?
I mean, I generally do. Of like, you're gonna be in separate instances for the most part when you're in your camp or whatever. I mean, if you're like close to each other, the game will try and put you together, and you have to be in a private lobby and all this shit. But there's gonna be stretches of time where it looks like you and your friends are not together, and then as soon as you enter a fight, an actual like you have like not even like start the mission and then you go out and you find the monster and then a cutscene plays introducing the monster and then the fight starts and then an automatic invite sends out to your friends who are already partied up with you in the menus, and it's just like, this is, why couldn't we start from the base like and roll out together? Like, I just don't
Like
understand.
I want to be in the open world and like run around and start missions with my friends and like you know, there's some games where like it's co-op and you can see each other in like the cutscenes and stuff. I think that would have been pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, if this was Halo Reach, like level of co-op, you know, of
Yeah.
like, I see my friend, I see their custom character and the armor that they've got on and the weapon they're using, like, and all of that. Like, I can't believe we have not really seen that technology come back around, you know? And I mean, there is a way to get each other in the same instance that like works within the camp and within the open world.
I don't like how it works though.
It gives you a lot less things. Like you can't, like they have these things called pop-up camps, which are like basically fast travel points where you can do a couple of like camp related things like editing your loadout and stuff. But these pop-out camps are fully customizable. Like you can change colors, you can change the set dressing of the pop-up camps. But if you enter somebody else's, I forget what they call it, environmental
Instance or environmental link or something like that.
environmental link or whatever. If you enter somebody else's, you can only see what they have. You can't, like, it's not as customizable for you, which is lame. And if they start a story mission, you get booted out. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why is it like this? Why can't we watch the same cutscene together?
Yeah.
Because how are they going to have two people in the cutscene?
How?
They've done it before.
How can we do it, Connor? If only there was if only there was
Dang.
examples of this being done from over a decade ago. You know?
Well, listen, they usually don't have a voiced protagonist in the way they do, so it's different now.
I love my voice protagonist of Noble Six.
Noble Six had a voice too.
He said like a total of like 6 lines.
Okay, that's lines. What? What does that mean? Is it supposed to discredit him as a character?
Oh, your point was Monster Hunter Wilds has a voiced character.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I mean, you just put yourself there.
What does that mean? Put yourself there.
Well, in the same way that Halo Reach
Like,
did it.
Yeah,
you saw
it would
your
put
guy
your-
in
it would
front.
put your
I saw
character
my
in the
guy in
forefront.
front.
Right.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. And there's only 2 voices in the game. So it's not like it's a wide variety of actors to choose from. It's a male voice and a female voice.
I think
Agree to disagree.
Is there not more than?
I think there's 2. I think there's 2 per sex.
So there's 2 for each, right?
I think there's 2 per sex. There's only 2 for the cat.
The cat.
Yes.
Yeah. And that one's male and female.
I think there's 3 per guy because there's like the gruff voice, the softer guy voice, and then a normal one. There might be 4, honestly.
Yeah. The one that I chose, when I created my character, I edited a bunch of stuff, and then my wife came in and just like, you don't really, let me help you fix some of this, and like she helped me kind of go through with some of the like color. It's mostly like hair coloring and stuff like that because I guess I'm weird with colors.
I found a default design that I liked, changed the hair and eye color, and went on my way.
Yeah, but anyway, I had like saved another version, so I thought I was saving over it whenever I had fixed it. And I didn't, so I had to change it all again, and then I didn't change my voice. So I have like the Todd Hebercorn voice, who is not my favorite, but
Change
that's like the softer one. You can after you change the game, or
you can change your appearance.
It's in your camp
related stuff,
or in your tent.
Yeah, but it's like a limited thing. Like I have tickets for it, but
I hadn't pressed it, so
it is. It's a limited thing.
Okay,
I
went in and like changed my cat's voice.
Oh, okay. I don't know if voices are different, but I know you like as far as changing your appearance and stuff. It's like a ticket.
All right, the gauging of your guys' intelligence. What voice did you give the cat? The cat speak, Palico speak, or human speak?
Oh, the human speak.
I'm gonna kill you.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you.
So I started.
Whoa.
I started with.
This is why you like Teddy.
Feline.
This is why you like Teddy, loser. Like I like my mascot character. Dude,
I started with the feline language.
Yeah,
but I got tired of having to read everything it said every time, so I was like, let me go ahead and just switch it to.
You're just
humans.
It's especially helpful in battle because like I'll like prep up a potion to heal myself, and then I'll hear, "Don't worry, I got you," and then like I'll see the guy in the background.
Coming your way.
Yeah, I'll see the guy in the background throw a health potion at me, and I'm like, thanks, cat.
Can you give them a gruff voice or is it all high pitch?
No, I mean,
there's only a male and a female voice, and you can pitch it up and down, but that just sounds like it doesn't sound weird. It doesn't sound.
It does like the weird reverby thing.
Yeah,
it's weird.
So
I modeled my Palico after my cat Olive, who has appeared on many episodes of the show.
What'd you call it again? Boliv? Olive?
No, Poliv, Poliv, because that's her nickname
Olive.
around the house.
Olive.
No, I mean that's just her nickname around the house. We call her Olive Poliv because it rhymes.
It stands for Palico, as I have just said it is.
That can be your headcanon.
My Palico's name is Freddy.
Freddy,
and I love Freddy. Freddy's my homie.
It's a man.
Yeah.
I thought you respected women. You didn't make it a.
Well, I'm a woman.
Let's talk about the real like we talked about how bad we feel about killing some of these animals. Let's talk about the tortured soul that is Fudge.
Yes, yeah. Fudge is only like they're only the way they are because of the armor systems. It's changed now. Fudge is a new man or woman. I can't remember what I mean.
I gotta find that picture that Phil sent. Was it in the main chat?
It's in the Discord generally.
Yeah. Oh my god!
I mean, you gave him like a 2B wig.
Yes, it's basically a 2B wig, and then some stupid, dumb looking. I did change it from when I last showed you guys. He's even weirder looking now, but in a cooler way. Not in like a. Yeah, why does it have a woman's wig? Why is that one of the outfits? For the outfit, it's fine.
You could have given him a crown or something,
something like that.